Hello, my name is Noreen Fernandes and I'm part of the local Young Advisors group here in Lewisham. Now, in celebration of International Women's Week 2021, I'm delighted to be asking Ellie Reeves, MP of Lewisham West and Penge, a few questions regarding women and society. So first off, why have prosecution levels of crime against women, such as rape and serious sexual violence, been decreasing? And what is being done to address this?
Rape prosecutions are at their lowest ever recorded level, which is clearly completely unacceptable. And it's not because women aren't coming forward, and it's not because the police aren't referring cases to the Crown Prosecution Service. So something's happening in the criminal justice system, which means that victims of rape just aren't getting justice. And this has to change. The government announced an end-to-end rape review 2 years ago, and we're still waiting for the outcome of that. So what we're doing in the Labour Party is putting in place our own shadow rape review, saying what we think should happen to assist victims of rape and serious sexual violence. And that includes having an advocate for women through every stage, from the moment they report rape at the police station right through to going to trial, and that would really help victims and support them, and that's a measure that we want to see. It's clear that urgent action is needed, such as more training, support and specialisms for those that are prosecuting rape cases, but victims have got to be the absolute heart of this, and women need supporting every step of the way.
Why have women been disproportionately affected by the pandemic?
It's clear that women have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic, and there's lots of reasons for this. Women are more likely to work in health or social care jobs or childcare roles, and therefore being more at risk of COVID. Also, women during homeschooling have been doing more than their fair share a lot of the time in terms of homeschooling and childcare. Often women work in sectors like hospitality and catering, so are more likely to have lost their jobs or placed on furlough. Sadly as well, domestic abuse has gone up during the pandemic. So obviously, as we come out of the pandemic, we need a women-centred approach and a recovery specific for women and how they have been affected. I think one thing that's really interesting is that even before the pandemic, it was going to take 60 years to end the gender pay gap. And it's thought the pandemic has pushed that back by 30 years, meaning 90 years to close the gender pay gap and get pay parity for men and women. So it's absolutely clear that as we come out of this pandemic, we need to put women at the front of that and get the right policies in place so we can get women back into work, get women the skills they need, get women support with childcare, so that they can play an active role in the labour market and are not left behind and are given the support that they need.
What can Parliament do as a workplace to attract more female MPs?
Parliament is a fantastic place to work, and it's a privilege and an honour to be the Labour MP for Lewisham West and Penge, the area that I grew up in and that I'm bringing my own family up in. But Parliament could do a lot to attract more women into politics, and part of that is making Parliament a lot more family friendly. Often we have votes late at night, 10 o'clock in the evening, sometimes even later. I can remember being in the voting lobby at 1 a.m, 2 a.m, and I've got two small children, and that makes caring responsibilities difficult. So one of the things that I've been doing in Parliament since being elected is trying to make it more family friendly, and that involves things like proxy voting. You know, until a year or so ago, there was no system in place for women to be away from Parliament after having a baby. And now, if you have a baby, someone can cast your vote in Parliament on your behalf for a period of 6 months after you've had a baby. And I benefited from that after the birth of my second child. But there's still a long way to go. That 6 months could be extended. And we could also look again about the hours that we vote. Do we really need to be having votes at 10, 11 o'clock at night? Or could they be done at a different time of day? And I think that's something that we need to think quite clearly about. During the pandemic, we've been for a period of time we were voting remotely, and I think we could look at whether remote voting is something that might at least speed up our processes so that we're not voting for hours on end late at night. So there's more that can be done, and I'll carry on pushing for change in Parliament so that no woman is ever put off putting themselves forward for elected office because of the lack of balance between work and family life.